Welcome, Carney, to Metallarium Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk with you about Ahab, this new album, the choral toms, and more things related to the metal world. Starting when I think when a common question, how was the band being during this more than 10 years, like 8 years to release a new album, because your last album, The Bolts and the Gleam Carrick, was released 2015, and now are you on the 2023? How was the band during these times?
Well, the band was very busy actually, but not with band stuff, rather with family stuff, because there were 5 children coming to birth in the band, and yes, well, we had 2 years of a pandemic.
Yeah.
You might remember that, and that makes 8 years. So yeah, actually, we were busy, but it didn't feel like 8 years. It was. Yeah, the only thing that really felt very bad was this pandemic thing, because during this pandemic there was exactly one whole year we didn't meet in person, all of us. I realized that when we first met uh last year in no yeah in 2021 during summer for rehearsal, because we had 4 or 6 shows or something like that. Like, dude, is it possible we haven't seen in 1 year right now? Oh yes, let me think. Last time we saw, yes, we haven't seen for 1 year, and this was absolutely shocking. But yeah, we were busy with stuff.
Okay. So well, with this opportunity to talk about the pandemic, perhaps this pandemic is helped you to compose, some fix the new album. Perhaps helped to do this new album, because 2 years a lot of musicians are recording new, composing new, writing new material, and we are seeing all the last albums just completely during this pandemic.
Mm, yeah, myself, I was very busy. I recorded 4 or 5 albums on drums for yeah, whatever band. But the Ahab thing was, we actually, yeah, we do work at home. We write stuff at home. We prepare stuff at home. But Ahab does not work without personal interaction. When we don't meet, when we don't see each other and talk about stuff and listening to ideas or fragments of songs or whatever, if we don't do that in the rehearsal space as for, uh, it doesn't happen. So even though we prepare stuff at home and we write stuff at home and a lot of stuff happens at home, if the band can't come together, there is no band. So yeah, we did something during the pandemic, but for finishing the album we had to meet.
Okay. A quick question. A great. I think this is a common question. How was the band composed on a funeral doom metal album? Because some people think that this is a long riffs, long times, long tempos, etc., etc. And perhaps it's for unknown people, the funeral doom is more easy to compose than the usual styles like progressive death metal, progressive metal, etc., etc.
No, I don't think so. I think this is another reason why it took us so long not to release an album, because I think it's not so easy to compose a funeral doom album, because it's slowly, and it has, and the longitude of everything is a very important aspect of the music. But the thing you don't want to be is boring, and if you have not so much stuff going on and the slow music, it's probably very easy for everybody on the world who can hold a guitar to compose a very, very boring album. If you're only allowed to play very slow. So it was, yeah, every single riff that happens in the songs, or every single riff that is being brought to the rehearsal space, we are going through uh, very carefully and decide, is it good enough, is it really a good riff, or does it just sound cool because it's heavy and we have distortion on the guitar, or is this good music? That's another reason why Ahab don't compose very fast, because we have to, yeah, to zoom on to every single yeah, a facet in the music, and that takes time.
Hmm. Okay, but that's a curious thing according to your discography, because this last album, Coral Tombs, delayed 8 years. But if we compare with your previous record since 2006, your first album, the second album was released 3 years later. Then the Giant was released 3 years later, and the Boots and the Great 3 years later. That's the first time that the band took 8 years to release album. So perhaps something special has how about something special have to do to create this new album.
Maybe it was important because it's yeah, it's our fifth album, and maybe if we had done it faster, it would probably have ended up not so intriguing, not so, yeah, because I feel it's a very strong album, and all the people are telling me, which have listened to it, oh, this is maybe your best album. I have heard that very often, and this is something I haven't heard during with the previous albums. But this time, a lot of people told me, "Oh, this is maybe your best album." So maybe, yeah, it just needed these 8 years to become our maybe best album. We will see. I don't know. I cannot judge right now because I'm still very much into the album. I have to get a distance, and in the first place, I have to buy a new needle for my record player that I finally can listen to my vinyls. I got my vinyl copies that some weeks ago, and I couldn't listen to it. I made a stupid unboxing video, but I couldn't listen to the LPs afterward because I broke the needle of my record player. Yeah, but yeah, I think this is something I have to do: buy a new needle and listen to the album and try to think about it with a little distance, because I haven't listened to it for quite some time now. Maybe, yeah, maybe then I can see more clearly about how it is compared to the other albums. And yeah, maybe we just needed 8 years to make this album because
Mm-hmm.
the music wanted it.
Oh, okay, interesting answers. So about this question, when you say that some people told you, well, for us, we did a review on our website. We published and scored a great score. I think 9.5/10. So it's a great score in our website. So if we relate this aspect, so many people felt this is your best effort until today. But for some fans, this is a common thing. For some fans and for some reviewers, they say that your first album or first two albums are the great one from your career until now. Perhaps. So, what is your opinion about the people who thinks that the first two albums are the great ones or the great stones in their career from Ahab? And perhaps do you think like many bands do it? So perhaps this the last album is your best effort until today. But this is like a cliche from all bands.
Yeah, it may be, and everybody can like whatever he or she wants, and I think um, I know that there are people who are saying that, yeah, it's the first album, and this is, yeah, and you might know it's not only the thing with Ahab, it's a common thing with the most bands that people say, yeah, only the old stuff, and I think it's a very normal thing because if you discover a band, it's likely you discover the band with the very first album, and then it is something very new for you. And if you like the band very, very, very much, you will keep the circumstances of discovering this kind of music, the the mood you were in during that time, as something special. And so for sure it's an emotional thing for people that they say, yeah, this is my favorite album, and it will always stay my very favorite album, my absolutely favorite album from this band. Yeah, because of the feeling I had with this music, and for me, it's absolutely totally okay.
Okay. So you said a few questions ago, a few answers ago, that the funeral doom metal is one of the styles the more challenging, because with the long riffs you try to create more schemes, more textures, more layers into the music. It's normally so in this aspect. You know about the old stuff from skepticism, tergoton, unholy, etc., esoteric, and funeral. This is a great band from the past, from funeral doom metal. So perhaps do you have in mind that it's possible to expand more the limits of that the funeral doom has since the 90s with the new sound that Ahab provides to the style?
Yeah, in the first place, it's not pure funeral doom we are playing. I think this is the main thing. We really do not sound like Tyranny or Thergoton or something like that. We do not sound like these bands. We have a lot of stuff in our music that sounds like these bands because we are influenced by them, for sure. Especially talking about Tyranny or Esoteric, these are bands which really influenced the beginnings of Ahab, and so there are parts in our music which are from these bands, kind of. But it was never our goal to sound like these, to play exactly like these bands. It was from the very beginning. It was clearly that Ahab will become uh, it Ahab's own band, because we are not Esoteric, and we are not Funeral, and we are not Tyranny. We are Ahab. And nowadays there's not so, yeah, but actually most people say, yeah, nowadays it's not so much Funeral anymore. But I feel actually about Ahab only the demo, not even the first album. Only the demo was Funeral Doom.
Oh.
Call of the Wretched Sea is for me is merely kind of death doom thing. Only the demo songs are the pure funeral doom songs. So if people tell us we are not so much funeral anymore, well, yeah, we haven't been so much funeral anymore for 17 years now.
Well, yeah, yeah. Well, talking about the I want to ask this question because talking about this the subject of living influence and feeling what happens internally and externally for the musician. So many musicians say that they don't have a direction when writing music and carry away by the feelings they have in the moment. So for you, how do the parts of producing an album connect with the idea of sensation of it? Could we say that the music is a concept thinking and or is a concept not thinking?
It's more feeling than thinking, I guess, because for us it's clearly before we really start writing songs, uh, we know which book it will be we're gonna make the album about the next time. Maybe somebody writes a riff at home and everybody likes it, and that's cool, and we have this riff. But composing songs starts when we know which book we will use for the next album. And so every song, every riff that's finally on the album comes into being under the influence of the story, because before we really start, everybody of us has to read the book. And before we even decide which book it's gonna be, we will find out by reading different books. And everybody say, yeah, well, yeah, this is the one we are going for. Then we know it's this book, please read it again, and then we're gonna start composing. So uh, we try to have the story influencing the music.
Okay. Well, trying to relate that, but I think this is a hard question to answer because for a funeral doom metal band, for a doom metal band, etc., into these aspects, it's impossible, especially for me, it's impossible to select this song is much better than this song because you need to hear all album. It's normal. You need to hear the choral tombs in general to understand what happened in this album because, as I said, has a lot of texture, layers, etc. But the new generation doesn't think like that. They prefer now to hear the music like the 40s and 50s. So when the music just spread by singles. So
Mm.
into this aspect, which songs for you, or which songs, or which song, or which songs to for you are expressed or are canalized all sensation that this astral that this choral tunes has it.
I would say the last song, the Maelstrom. The last song. I think this is my favorite one. Maybe my favorite song, maybe as well, The Sea as a Desert, along this. But I think the last song, Maelstrom, has more of all songs that happen on the album. Yep, the last song. And we have guest vocals on the last riff by Gregory Chandler from Esoteric. So it's a very special song for me because Greg has been a very, very good friend of us for more than 10 years now. And finally it happened. Big Greg is on our album. So yeah, go for the Maelstrom.
Okay. Well, talking about one aspect, as I said in the general common, as I said in general, in general. So sometimes, someday I was read about the music has to be power during the 15 first seconds. Well, that's the way when the listener capture the attention of the band, the song, etc., according to the science. So, but your songs are more than 10 minutes. So it's impossible not to say so the 15 first seconds are the best ones. That's impossible. So what is your opinion about this aspect that the science says that is the music is just the 15 first seconds are the great songs to continue to hear the band or to hear the song, the album, etc.
Yeah, well, the cool thing is, in the first place, I don't care. But I think if scientists tell this about I don't know how to put this. Probably it's the average song for the average listener takes average 15 seconds to get the average person into average liking the average whatever. Um, and being people on the one hand, people who actually listen to extreme music or listen to doom or whatever, just let it be extreme music. It doesn't count so much for them because it's special music, and the most time people who listen to this very special interest music uh, take a lot of time. They have huge record collections, they go to concerts. A lot of time of their everyday life is occupied by music. I think for these people it's easy to get along with Ahab because if it starts somehow, if the average listener says, "Oh, it's been 15 seconds, nothing happens, goodbye, I'm out," the special interest listener is probably more like, nothing's happening. Let's hear where this will lead to. I'm kind of curious now. What will happen? How this will turn out? So, for people who are generally interested in music and not just the effect of having dance music around, but really deep into music, who spend a lot of time of their life with listening or watching music, it doesn't matter. This rule that has been found by the scientists, it doesn't matter for these people. So that's
Yeah.
my opinion. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. And that's why I don't care. Very short. I'm back at the beginning, but yeah, I think this is my opinion on this.
Okay. So, with your career as a drummer, I see that your career is more inclinated in other bands than extreme metal. Because I saw that you play in other bands, the death metal, thrash metal, avant-garde, progressive, etc. But now with you, Ahab, you are more soft or more calm than your other projects. So how do you decide to play with Ahab in the beginning 2000 when you entered the band in 2006 when you released the first album, etc. Because as I said, this project is far away than they used to be in other bands. So
Yeah, it just happened. Daniel invited me. Oh, we have something finished. You remember the demo I showed you last year? Yeah, we have recorded an album and we were thinking to put real drums on it. You will do it? Yes, sure. I like the demo. Is it that Doom stuff, Ahab? Yes. Okay. When should I do it? Tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, I do it. So I just it probably was not the day after, but I kind of stumbled into Ahab, and but I liked it from the very first second because it was just music I really appreciated. I liked Ahab from the very first second. Daniel gave me the first demo on a CD-ROM, on an open air festival. This is my Doom project. And I listened to it, and I was totally blown away. I have been an Ahab fan from the demo, and I got the demo from the guitar player. So I'm a very, in the first place, I was a very close and true Ahab fan from the very first beginning, where just for a short time, because even before the first album, I was asked to to join for playing. Um, it just turned out that I like it very much. And to be honest, I really don't like my drumming on the first album. I think on Divinity my drumming is okay, and from the Giant on it, I kind of understood how to play slow. But I liked it from the very first second, and for me it doesn't matter if I play slow uh, or fast. For my personal taste, it's just about the music. And if you have seen a live clip or if you have seen a live show of us, you see that I'm very much into the music. I play very physical. I totally destroy the drums during I just did this on our release show last Friday. I burst the head of my snare drum. I blasted it because I was playing very heavily. So it's all it's all about feeling, and not in the first place about, yeah, technicality or whatever it is. It's just, if I like the music, I want to play it.
Okay.
Technicality and the way how to play is always the second step. So, okay, how do I have to play it? What kind of cymbals do I need? What kind of pedals do I need? What sizes of drums do I need? If I play Ahab, actually on my Ahab drum set, I have a huge 26-inch bass drum like John Bonham played in Led Zeppelin. Fucking beast of a drum. I have the biggest drums I could find for Ahab, for my death metal band or my black metal band. I have absolutely way smaller sizes because of the fast playing. And for a death metal band, you don't need a bass drum sound that is like if you play double bass all the time. So yeah, all these technical aspects, if it's the playing technical or the equipment technique, it always comes second. Feeling is first. Do I
No, yeah.
like to play this?
Okay. Well, now talking about talking about now the concerts, but or the gigs in general, or the tours in general. I spoke even last year with Devin Townsend, and he told me that the gigs and tours are very expensive for the bands, for the promoters in Canada, in US, well, in Canada in general, in US, and also I spoke with the Christopher Johnson from Tyrion, and he told me the same. In Europe, it's very expensive to move a band with the all equipment that you have for to do a presentation with the band. No? So, what's your opinion about this aspect now? The tours are come back, but now as I think it's more difficult to do a tour with these expensive prices that the band, that the economic has now.
Mm. I'm absolutely not sure. I absolutely lack a whole picture. I really don't know what's going on. I really can imagine that if you, for example, if you play shows on a different continent, like American bands talking about Europe or European bands talking about playing in America, I think this causes the problem. This because there's always flights involved, and booking a band, and 2 weeks before the tour the band has to cancel because somebody is sick, pandemic, whatever. There are booked flights, thousands and thousands of, is it dollars or euro, I don't care, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of money probably just flushed down the toilet. So yeah, playing in other continents or in flying distance probably is highly risky. Considering the situation in the clubs, mm, I think it really depends. There are clubs, especially in Germany, which were very lucky, which were kind of saved by the politics, and there are clubs which absolutely totally uh, disappeared during the pandemic. I think one main problem is to get staff, because a lot of security persons or audio persons or video person during the pandemic, they were absolutely unemployed, and they went somewhere else. Somebody who worked as a security man probably now works in the steel business, construction. People have gone away, and that makes it very expensive, because renting security has become triple, quadruple the prices in our price range. And we haven't played abroad since. Have you played abroad? I'm not. Yeah, we did. Haha, we played in Athens. Yeah, but I think we have a lucky size of band, I guess, because we could play everywhere in the world, because we have great fans everywhere, but we're not a big band. So for example, on our release show last Friday, I guess there were 300 people. Probably it would have gotten some more if there wasn't more place, but I don't think that we do attract way more than 300 people, and that means you don't need extra security for the size of our shows. You don't need extra this, you don't need extra insurance, blah 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 blah. So I think we are kind of lucky, because the size of our show is exactly the size that works nowadays.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
But I really, to get back to your question, I really don't have a whole picture. I cannot judge on this subject. I can just tell what's the situation with Ahab, and we will find out what the situation with Ahab will be. Don't know if it gets better or worse during the next months. I really don't know.
Okay, so talking about the live shops, talking live shops, well, I was attended to a lot of festivals when Amon Amar played fire, structures, scenography, etc., etc. Behemoths like that, etc., etc. If you have the opportunity to have this scenography, structures, how could it be the scenography for a funeral doom like Ahab? Because what kind of elements do you take to a presentation a funeral doom metal band live?
Yeah, well, I have very stupid ideas. Like we need to have big fans at the side of the stage and blowing ice cold salt water on the stage, that the guitar strings immediately begin to rust and the cymbals crack. We need the place cooled down to 2 degrees, and it's dark all the time, and just stroboscopic lights. That would be the perfect atmosphere to if if you follow our lyrics. But actually, I don't know. I don't know. If we talked about what could we have on stage, what would be interesting. The cool thing is we only end up with talking rubbish, like I did just 1 minute ago. Nobody actually has a plan. Oh, we absolutely need this. We need this. We need that. We have some beautiful lights, and I think for a doom show, that's it. We, a cool setting is a very helpful thing. The last tour we played in Hamburg, we played on an old fish trawler. We were inside a ship, and everything was made of steel, and this had absolutely great atmosphere. But we didn't have stuff on stage. We just had lights, and that's it. And now our last show, last Friday, the release show for the album, we've been in a church. Doom in a church. You know how that sounds? It's like plus and plus and plus and plus plus plus. It was so fun, but even though with earplugs, I thought I will become deaf hitting the drums inside the church. This was a very special experience. It's a special settings, but I don't think about any special live shows, because I don't see a need for that, for this kind of music. I really don't need that. No, probably not.
Okay, but it's interesting about the Frozen, about our life. This will be great if it sometimes happen. Okay, okay. So, well, we are very close to this interview, Corny, and for that, what are the future plans that the band has for this new album? Perhaps a Latin American tour. Who knows? It's possible. Perhaps a European tour, or perhaps an American tour.
Yeah, well, we have plans and we have some things in the pipeline, but unfortunately, I have to tell you, was so much work to get this album done and everything, and we actually were a little late with booking. We started in the second half of 22, and obviously this was too late. We're not really getting shows at the moment because every single stage everywhere is already booked. We have a few shows coming up. We have a few more, three or something like that, which are not official yet, so I can't talk about them right now. But yeah, we were too late with the booking. You know, the pandemic that piled 2 years of live shows up, like on a huge pile of live shows, and we're not done with these yet. I still go to concerts. I have had ticket 2 years ago, you know. So we were absolutely late with booking, and probably 24 holds something, maybe 20, the first half of 2024 holds something big we haven't done before yet, but I really don't know. It's a little discouraging, the situation with no shows at all. We will see. Probably some will happen, but not as many as we actually would have wished.
Okay, okay. Well, Gurney, the sad times arrived at this interview. I hope you enjoyed this one. Like me, congratulations for the new album. Thanks for this time. I love the last album. I did my pre-order. I hope it arrives soon. So perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans and Metalerium followers?
I think this is something I've never said in the end of an interview, but because it always sounds like a promise, but let me tell you, it sounds like a wish more. I want to tell our Latin American friends, see you soon. I don't know if this comes true, but this would be a fucking thing. Absolutely. Ahab in Latin America would be super the biggest thing in the world, but I don't know if this is realistic. Yeah, but I would love to. So I'd love to see you guys, meet you guys.